Hi, everyone. My name is Emily, and I'm the young adult librarian at the Rock Island Public Library. And I'm going to be doing a book talk today here on a couple titles that you can read through our Libby app. So, Libby, also known as Overdrive, it's kind of easier to use than Overdrive. It's easier just to grab a book, select one, and then read it on your device or listen to it right away. Overdrive had issues sometimes where if people selected the wrong type of download, then maybe it'd be hard to get the book they wanted. But yeah, Libby is great. Good app, and the titles that I have today are both pretty new. They're from the last year, and this first one is "The Ones We're Meant to Find." And in this book, you meet a couple people. There are two people telling this story. Um, like going in, just from in here, that um, it's been 3 years and 17 days since a girl named C woke up on an island, and she is not sure what happened. She doesn't know how she got to this place or where she lived before. She just knows that, okay, so I live on this island and I have kind of a, slightly worn house, a little bit worse for wear. Um, she has one memory, however. Um, she knows that she has a sister. And what she's done is she's built a droid for company. And she's like, okay, well, this droid who keeps me company is great. I like my droid very much, but I need to get back to my sister because she's out there someplace, and she, would probably prefer me not be on this island forever. I need to get out of here at some point somehow and find her. Now, at the same time, there's a girl, and her name is Casey. She is 16, and she is a prodigy. And the problem for Casey is she, loves the idea that science can help people, but she's struggling with the fact that people aren't always so great. It's the idea that, well, the idea of helping humanity as a whole, that is wonderful, but you can still have the issue of, well, there are a lot of individual people that I don't really like. Or, there are people in Casey's life, um, who kind of make her question what she believes in. Just, people in the world she lives in where at this time it's sometime in the future. And there are sort of like these established zones where you're okay in terms of like not having to deal with pollution. These eco cities, I mean, if you live there, great. But the idea, like, it's supposed to be, this thing where, okay, you get refuge, um, if you're deserving. Like, this is the other kind of problem with the world in which Casey lives, because people don't actually have to be deserving in some way. Sometimes they just lie and say, oh, yeah, my family did this, we're helping the world and we're doing all this great stuff. And it's not necessarily true. So Casey's trying to figure out, well, alrighty, how do I use my gifts to actually help humanity when humanity is so, sort of at cross purposes in many ways. There's people who do want to make the world better, but then there are other people who don't care as long as they make as much profit as possible. In terms of like with this planet, for what is left. People are trying to protect the planet, that remains livable, but then there are some disasters that happen, and they're man-made disasters. This isn't like a natural disaster that could not have been predicted. This stuff was man-made. So Casey has to decide, okay, what am I going to do? I really feel like I should be helping. I need to do something in this situation, but again, she wants to find a way to help people without helping the terrible people who've caused these disasters. Like, she has to decide, okay, like, is there a way to do this in such a way that I will help people who need this, and make the environment more livable for people, as opposed to just enriching the profits of the people who cause these disasters. Because her scientific knowledge, I mean, it hasn't helped the people closest to her. And you might be thinking, are these two sisters? Yeah, I mean that seems to be the theme that I have chosen, as you will see with the next book. That was my unintentional theme this week. But yeah, in this book you have just Casey and C kind of having different issues, having very different challenges they are facing in terms of their environments. Like C just being on an island, it's like okay, well, what do I do about this? But I think as the book goes on with Casey, it's more about, I mean, figuring out, who her sister was, and also, how to use what she has, her skills, even though, they haven't helped people in the past, or, they haven't helped in the way that she wanted. Like, that's a big struggle in this book is that, people want to help each other, our main characters in particular, but they're struggling with the fact that, well, what if I can't help, or what if I I do wrong instead, in having good intentions. Well, that doesn't always lead to a good result. So I want to do a helpful thing for humanity, but how can I be sure that what I'm doing will actually help people in 100 years? Will things be better because of what I've done? So check it out. And this next book, also available through Libby, is They'll Never Catch Us. And in this book, you meet two sisters, and they are the Stepler sisters. I mean, they're very just kind of, they're sisters, and in the sense that okay, they don't always get along, certainly, but the older is Stella, and like she, is kind of hyper focused. She doesn't really have time for you know, hanging out with people. She wants to succeed, and so she kind of spends all her time working toward like cross country is sort of her life. Okay, she's running. I see kids out running in this weather, and it's like, wow, you're obviously very dedicated to this because it's very cold. But Ellie, like these sisters, there's only a year between them. Ellie, she's the other sister, but like she has a social life. She loves cross country as well, but still has time to like be friends with people and is a little bit. I think people see Stella as being very intense, and Ellie, it's like, oh well, she's a little bit more laid back than her sister, certainly, who's just like so focused because I mean there's regionals coming up. There's going to be like college scouts. There's scholarships on the line. So this is kind of where Stella is at in terms of I can't get distracted. But then this new girl named Mila comes to their school, and Mila is like back home, where she used to live. She was the best runner at her school, and at first, both Stella and Ellie are like, is this person like going to be a rival? Is she a threat to our chances of being noticed for scholarships? But then they both kind of like Stella in particular is surprised to find that I have a lot in common with this person. Not just running, but like think we could be friends. In a way that I'm not really friends with anybody else right now. And Ellie, at the same time, is thinking, oh, yeah, this person, Mila's like, she seems like a really good friend. She's got this great personality. She's fun to be around. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad this person is on our team now. Now, what happens in the book is, with regionals coming up, all the cross country runners, they're working hard. They're all, they want to win, and their coach wants them to win. But one day, Mila goes for a run, and she never comes back. And no one's sure quite what happened, but both Stella and Ellie are suddenly suspected. Like, okay, you were, you know, you were somebody who came close to this person in the short time that she, joined the team. Was at the school. What do you know that you aren't telling people? And of course, you read the book and you find out. Well, yes, there are some secrets in play here that are are going to be revealed. In spite of the title, these two are going to be found out for what has happened and what led to Mila disappearing. So, if you like a thriller, this is that certainly, and it's an interesting look at sort of like how the world of high school sports. I think when you're not in it, you just think like, okay, that's a thing that exists, but I mean, when you're in it, obviously, books like this demonstrate how intense it can be and, how insular this world is and how, if it becomes the center of your world, what can happen in terms of like the psychology of being on a team and like having a demanding coach who just wants people to succeed, wants success at any cost, kind of, and is maybe willing to overlook some red flags. So in the book, the Steckler sisters have to kind of figure out, okay, this is how we're going to start being honest with each other about secrets that we've kept, and with our team, also we need to decide, how we want to approach competing. When I mean, this person who was our friend is gone, and how are we going to react to this, what will we do about this, and how is it going to change us and what we do. So yeah, check it out. And again, this is more kind of sci-fi, future dystopian, but this is, yeah, thriller in the present day, and both are available through Libby if you want to check them out, although again they're pretty new, so you might have to wait a little bit, I'm not quite sure. And thank you for watching. I will see you again next week.